welcome to Will It Work? I'm Kevin. Today we're looking at the Soundic TV Sports. Now, I gotta tell you, I wanted to get this one working pretty bad. I actually had one other than this model, which is here. Same model, different unit. And it would not give me a display. And sometimes with these, you can open them up, and there's where the RF wire goes in to the switch box. You can get there's usually some coils, and the coils sometimes have screws, and you can align the screws for the horizontal as well as the frequency. Unfortunately, this does not have that. This is a later edition Pong. It has 8 or 9 games here, 10 games, and it has both up and down and left and right control, which is a nice evolution of where we're going with the Pong systems as we move closer and closer to the home video game console market, right? And it also has a shooting game, although what's odd about the shooting game, which are both of these here, is that there is no actual port for the shooting game except for this spot back here, which does not open, and there's no, that's just closed. So, and believe me, I've opened this thing up because I was looking for the screws and such, and to no avail. And I have opened up 2 of them, and there is no gun accessory that goes there. So I don't understand the gun thing at all. Like I don't get that. Like I'm dumbfounded by the gun situation and the lack of control. I'm positive it's not a wireless gun, not 1978 or whenever this was made. So that's weird. But, we have, if we've been watching these, we have this nice evolution where these are removable. And they have a serve button on here or a fire button. So maybe the gun game is fire, like this, rather than the light gun that we normally see. It's kind of what maybe I'm thinking, but you cannot get these to tune. Now, the funny thing is on the back of this unit, you will see here it says, VHF channel 3. Nope. What I can get is a bit of a picture on channel 2, and it is like dropped. It is centered for the most part, but it's dropped. The vertical hold has dropped it down, right? And I don't have a way of adjusting the vertical hold through the capture device. Now, I know on old TVs you could kind of tinker with the vertical hold a little bit, and like really old TVs, like from the 70s or be earlier, you could stretch or shrink the vert, but not here. So anyway, it is interesting though, right? We have a bunch of different games. It is in black and white though. Although it says red, green, blue, I was thinking it should be in color, and that just could be another thing that's just not coming in right because the signal's so weak. I didn't go from batteries to an adapter. That didn't seem to help. And I've looked at all of the caps, etc. Nothing seems to be blown or bubbling up or any of that. It all seems okay. So I'll switch over to the video side. I'll show you what I got, but it's not great. But I'm going to keep this one because one day I hope to find somebody that knows something about electronics, and to the degree that they could look at something like this and help figure out what is actually wrong with it. It may be one of those things where it's so integrated at this point that it's not worth the finessing to try to get it to go. But it's a shame because there's not a whole lot of these late edition units that have the vertical and horizontal control play. I do own an Odyssey 4000, which is probably the more popular one. I'm not even sure Atari had a late edition Pong because they went to the 2600, you know? So the joystick thing, yeah, it's just really kind of an evolution of a few systems, a handful of systems, and I just really kind of wished I could get this to work 100%. But at least I got it to work somewhat. We'll look at it a little bit on here, and we'll talk about it. All right, here we go.
So in order to actually even get us to this point, I had to get the drill out and drill out a screw that was stripped. So somebody had gone into this before I even had it and was trying to figure out what was wrong with it. Luckily, they didn't damage it when they went in, other than stripping the screw out. And who knows if they were even the first person that had this thing. It may have switched hands a lot. Basically, if you're ever on eBay and somebody's selling something like this and they're like, haven't tested it, they've tested it. They just don't want to tell you that it's broken because that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like they would just rather sell it to you as is because maybe they'll get a little bit more money for it, But whenever they say it's like untested, it usually means it's trash, which is kind of funny because if it's Japanese will usually call something junk. And what junk means to the Japanese is that it's untested. So it's kind of funny because that actually means they didn't test it and it might still work. And often when I buy junk stuff from Japan, a lot of times it actually works fine. But with anybody else selling it as untested, they're usually just, saying that it doesn't work. Because why would you, honestly, you can't throw some batteries in, hook it up to a TV, and make sure it works? Come on. It's been tested. So anyway, you can't really see this too well, but, it's because it's all slid down the screen. But you can kind of see, some differences in the layout. Like, that's like a soccer post kind of thing. And they have like a end goal there. And I think there's like a basketball court you can kind of see here. If I find the right one. Yeah, I think that's like basketball. And, you can move left and right and up and down, right? So you have this ability to kind of play like a very early kind of video game. You can see the little white guy moving around there. That's me moving him around with the controls, right? So if the ball is there, you can move up, down, left, right, etc. And it's very early, but it shows you like what they were doing in these early days, allowing you to have that kind of level of control. I know it's very staticky and the horizontal's not good here. There's nothing I can do about that. But I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of the evolution. Now, I do have a Roberts Pong coming up. That's also a late edition. It has 4-dimensional, as I want to call it, or 3-dimensional, or whatever. Is it 2-dimensional? It's not 1-dimensional, right? It'd be 2-dimensional. 2-dimensional controls. So we'll try that one. We'll see if we do better than the Soundics. It's unfortunate. The Soundics they're just not good. But I'm going to keep this one. I'm probably trashing the other one. Maybe again, like I said, somebody one day will be able to look at this and be able to figure it out. But anyway, thanks for watching. Let's move on to the next one. Hopefully the next one works.